Are you curious about life in Spring Hill, Florida? Well, I've got you covered today, guys, with basically the only video that you're gonna need. This is the most in-depth look into just about everything to do with Spring Hill, Florida. So stay tuned, grab the popcorn, watch till the end so you can take all the information in, and let's dive right in. Hi and welcome to the Living in Spring Hill channel. I'm Ross Hardy from the Hardy team at Remax, and I've been a resident here for about 19 years. So I'm always excited to bring you guys the insider information, the local knowledge, and give you all of my favorites, as well as some of the main facts about living in certain places. So if you're interested in learning more about Spring Hill, Brooksville, Wesley Chapel, and the Tampa Bay area, be sure to subscribe to the channel, be sure to hit notifications for new videos. And I tried to cover a whole host of topics, as well as just homes, talking about restaurants, cost of living, best places to go, schools, and much more. So if it's information you're looking for, you found the right channel. All right, so diving right in, and let's talk about the location. Now, Spring Hill is situated about 40 miles north of Tampa, Florida. It's really easy access. You just hop straight on State Road 589, the Suncoast Toll Road, and come off at exit 41 and you're in Spring Hill. So no issues as far as access to and from Tampa there. It's about 15 minutes inland from the Gulf, so it's close to the coast. And it's about an hour and a half from Orlando. So vacation capital can be staycation capital for you guys. Now, my personal opinion of Spring Hill is, having been here for 19 years, that I really do love it. I had a chance to move just outside of Tampa, about 9 miles outside the city when I first moved here, and ultimately I decided to be in Spring Hill to be closer to my parents, and it's not a decision I've regretted. There's a little bit of hustle and bustle, but it's definitely a slower pace of life than Tampa or even somewhere like Wesley Chapel. And because I came from the West Country in England, I'm pretty much used to that, so that's okay for me. I don't need the bright lights and the nightclubs anymore. I'm way too old for that, and I have a family, so Spring Hill suits me down to the ground. The houses are just about secluded enough to give you peace and quiet, and there's a whole host of different housing options to satisfy even the most finicky of homebuyer. But the proximity to Wesley Chapel, Tampa, Orlando means it opens up a whole bunch of options if you really want to get out and explore and get beyond the stuff that is in Spring Hill. So as long as you don't mind a little drive, you're never likely to run out of entertainment options. Now, as far as the basic information about Spring Hill, it does appear on maps as early as 1856, but it was really developed into what it's known as today back in the late 60s, early 70s. It has a current population of around about 110,000, which is up considerably from when I moved here 18, 19 years ago. And the biggest industries here are the healthcare, the education, and then also the retail trade. Now, Spring Hill is predominantly known for its proximity to the coast, as well as its kind of slower pace of life. Like I said, I'm okay with all of that. But it's also well known for being one of the more affordable areas in the Tampa Bay area, both in terms of the housing and then also the general cost of living. So we can talk a little bit more about that as well. Cost of living here comes in around about 4% lower than the national average. Now, while that's great, some people might not think that represents fantastic value, with there not being quite so much to do with some areas like Tampa or Wesley Chapel. But I think it's fantastic. I've never had any issue with the cost of living here. One of the key things to remember is, of course, there's no personal state income tax, so that off the bat is a real benefit. One of the other things that's much more affordable here in Florida in general, but also in Spring Hill, is the fact that the healthcare is about 20% less than the national average. And Tampa General Hospital have just come in and taken over a couple of the local hospitals. It's a fantastic institution, so the healthcare is only going to get better here. Now, the average age of somebody in Spring Hill is 42.7 years old, so almost exactly my age. It's a little bit older maybe than Wesley Chapel, Tampa, where the average age is lower, but nothing to be worried about there. And the average household income is $62,700, which is just below the Florida average of about $69,000. Now let's talk a little bit about recreation and parks real quick. So Spring Hill does have a number of parks. If you have kids, you're almost certainly going to end up at Anderson Snow at some point. That's about a 110-acre property. They have 7 or 8 soccer fields. They have 6, I think, softball fields. They have a kids' playground there. They have pavilions where you can kind of book those out for birthday parties. They have a concession stand. They're actually in the process of building an awesome new splash pad there as well. It's normally the site for the local Red, White and Bruise Festival on July 4th every single year for fireworks. It also hooks up to the bike trail, which goes all the way down to Tampa alongside the Suncoast Parkway. So Anderson Snow is somewhere you're going to want to get familiar with, and it's very easily located as well. Now there's a couple of other parks as well, like Delta Woods, like Veterans Park, so we've got you covered on that front. And then if you want to get back into civilization a little bit more, check out the GTX Theater. That's been a really greatly improved feature of Spring Hill and Brooksville over the last few years. Kids always love going there. But there's also a great variety of food options as well. So you have all the chain restaurants, if that's your thing. It's not mine, I'm a self-prescribed foodie. But check out Nouvelle Cuisine, which is a Belgian French fusion restaurant. It's one of the favorite of our family for birthdays, anniversaries, and stuff like that. Or you can check out Prime 88, which is the hot new steakhouse in town. Again, if you're looking for more stuff to do, you can take in classes on how to make wine, painting with a twist. There's local breweries around here. You can go to the Locomo skate rink. You can go to the go-karts. You can go to the driving range. There's golf, tennis locally. So new altitude trampoline park just opened for kids. Basically, there's plenty of stuff to do. Maybe not as much as Tampa, but there's enough going on here. Certainly more than when I came here 19 years ago and was struggling to find places. If you want to know about our favorites, hit us up. We'd love to share those with you. Okay guys, if you're finding value in this video, please do me a favor. Please subscribe to the channel and please hit notifications so you can get alerted when we release new videos about Spring Hill, Brooksville, Wesley Chapel, and living in the Tampa Bay area. Also, please leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. I'm always happy to hear from folks like you. And if you're thinking of making a move, be sure to reach out to my team and I. We love helping families. We help over 200 a year, and we would love to be your resource for everything local. All right, back to the video. Okay guys, carrying on. If you have kiddos, or if you're planning on having them in the next few years, the school systems are probably going to be pretty important to you, right? So let's talk about those briefly within the confines of what I am and am not able to talk about. Now, Spring Hill is served by the Hernando County School District, and it's kind of a mixed bag school-wise. Now, in general, I will say that they rank on average about 5 out of 10, and they're in the 50th percentile in Florida. That's according to the Public School Review website. However, there are some great magnet and charter options. There's also private options. So be sure to check out the resources like Niche, like Great Schools, to find out more information on those. Our kids have gone through Chocochatty, and they've also gone through Challenger. They're now at Gulf Coast Academy and going into Hernando High, and we've had great experiences at all of those schools. Again, opinions may vary. Be sure to use the research to do all that you can. All right, so if this sounds good to you so far, you might be saying, okay, Ross, what about the real estate? Well, you guys know I love to talk about that, so let's dive into that just a little bit. I don't want to take up the whole video doing this. Now, the average price of a property in Spring Hill is $319,000, 319. That's gone up about 3.5% over the last year or so. Now, this is way above the average of like 147 just about 6-7 years ago when I was doing real estate. And because Spring Hill has been so affordable historically, during the pandemic, when the prices started to go crazy, we saw a huge influx of people wanting to take advantage of the relatively lower prices, which drove the prices up much quicker than some of the surrounding areas. Now, most homes here are in that kind of single-story ranch style, which you might be familiar with if you've been anywhere in Florida, but there is a great variety of homes here. So mobile manufactured homes, we got 55+ communities, we got 2-story homes, gated communities, non-gated communities, golf course communities. There's even a new lagoon community being built here. We have acreage, we have luxury homes, we have inexpensive homes, and the builders are here as well. So there's a ton of building and development going on in Spring Hill. So if new builds are your thing, we've got you covered there. If you want to know more about real estate, of course, you already know you can reach out to us with the contact information that's in this video here. We can send you a list of properties that might be in your price point that you're looking at, and we'd be happy to discuss that more with you. Again, don't want to take up the whole video doing that. Now let's talk about property taxes, because I know that's going to be an important thing for some of you as well. Now, the first thing to mention is that Florida has a great program for homestead properties. Homestead is where it's going to be your primary registered residence. Now, for homestead properties, they have something called the Save Our Homes Act, which means that after the first year of taxes, when it's been reassessed, they cap the amount that the taxes can go up. And that cap is at 3% or the CPI, Consumer Price Index number. So that's great because as home prices have spiraled out of control over the last 4 or 5 years or so, the property taxes have remained relatively intact. Now, of course, like I said, that's going to be reassessed upon the purchase, but it's worth noting that that cap is there. It's been great in keeping taxes lower for people the longer they stay in the property. And the homestead also gives you an exemption. So it can be $50,000 for some people. There's also VA benefits, disability benefits, which give you exemptions on your property taxes as well. Be sure to reach out to us and we can help you navigate through that as well. All things considered, the average property tax in Spring Hill, Florida is 1.29% of the market value of the property, which lies just below the national average of about 1.34. All right, so all of this sounds great so far. So now you're saying, okay, I'm moving to Spring Hill. I've sorted out the schools for my kids. How about the jobs market? Well, this might be, quite honestly, where some of you hit a little bit of a stumbling block. Now, in years gone by, I'm talking about going back 25, 30 years, Spring Hill was really geared towards being a more retirement community. Now, that's transitioned a lot over that time. However, what has happened is the job market has taken a little bit of time to catch up. Spring Hill's been one of those areas where there's been massive development for single family homes or communities going in, and then the infrastructure and support services haven't necessarily kept up quite to the speed of that as they've been building it. So jobs have been a little bit harder to come by in Spring Hill. Now, if you're in education, if you're in healthcare, you're probably going to be pretty well set. And if you don't mind having a job in retail, you're going to be okay there as well. But if you're moving to the area, I would really encourage you to do two things. First of all, look at some of the communities around. So Tampa is an easy commute, like I said, and then also Wesley Chapel might be an option for you, or try to get a job situated before you move here. Don't rely on getting here and then looking for something, because it may take a little bit longer than you expect. And also, if you're looking in Wesley Chapel or Tampa, then the pay is going to be higher than what the Spring Hill area is as well, probably more than enough to offset the extra cost of the travel. Now, Spring Hill's a very, very tight-knit community. There are several gated communities here as well, some of them even guard-gated, so safety for the most part is not going to be an issue. Like I said, it was really geared towards a retirement community before, so it has that somewhat sleepy feel to it, where it's not quite as intense as Tampa or Wesley Chapel or some of those areas. And overall, on crime scores, crime grade is a B+. So pretty good there, not much for you to worry about. I've never really had an incident in the whole 19 years that I've been here. Be sure to use the resources online to check out if you have any concerns about that. Now, like I've already alluded to, there are gated communities, most of them guard gated. If you have extra concerns about safety and security, but with the crime grade score being a B+, I don't see too much to worry about there. I've been here 19 years, and aside from kids messing around, stealing stuff out of garages sometimes in these communities, I've not really had any experience of any crime. So, of course, do your own research. Go online and use the resources and make sure that you feel comfortable. But with a score of B+, I've certainly seen much worse areas out there. But everybody's different. Your level of comfort might be different. Please be sure to do your research. All right, now let's talk about the entertainment opportunities. Now, like I said, you have GTX theaters, roller skating rinks, you have the go-karts, driving ranges, you have a whole host of water activities, by the way, because we're so close to Hernando Beach and the coast. So if you're into jet skiing, fishing, if you want to take the boat out, if you like doing kayaking, you can go down the Weeki Wachee River. They have the Mermaid Park at Weeki Wachee State Park, where you can see real live mermaids, right? And check out the amenities there. So a whole host of stuff to do, although it is going to fall behind somewhere like Wesley Chapel or somewhere like Tampa for sure. Although, like I said, those are kind of just on the doorstep and you're able to make an easy commute to those areas if you want to explore something more than what Spring Hill has to offer. Now, some of the hidden gems here include the Spring Hill Botanical Gardens. I somehow lived here for about 14 years without even knowing it existed. And now that I've been there, I love it. It's a really quiet place to just walk around, take it all in, be alone with your thoughts, take a little picnic and have something there. But there are all these hidden gems around Spring Hill that I'm still kind of finding out now after being here 18, 19 years. So I'd love to hear your suggestions if you're a local as to what I might be missing. But be sure to explore the area. You can like our Discover Spring Hill page on Facebook, where we try to uncover some of those as well. Now, the one thing I will say is that the nightlife here is quiet. It's not dead totally, but it is much quieter than Wesley Chapel, Tampa, and again, some of those surrounding areas. So if you're into the club scene, if you're into the nightlife scene, Spring Hill might be a little bit too quiet for you. Again, I'm okay with it. I'm in my 40s, I have a family, I don't get into that much anymore. And even when I was in my 30s, before I had a kid, it was okay. I found places to go to and things to do. But it is certainly different if you're moving from a larger area. You're gonna notice the change of speed. But there are plenty of quiz nights, karaoke nights, other stuff to do as well. So again, be sure to research it, use the resources that we can give you, but just be aware it's not that club scene if that's what you're looking for. Now let's talk about restaurants, because that's one of my favorite things to talk about. Now, this is something where when I came to Spring Hill originally, I used to go to the same chains all the time. So Applebee's, Chili's, and those places, and kind of drove me nuts. But as I started to explore, I started to find really, really great things going on locally. So again, I spoke about Nouvelle Cuisine, which is that French-Belgian fine dining restaurant. It's so old and quaint and a little oldie-worldy feel. Awesome, awesome high-end food and a fantastic wine list to accompany it. We just had Prime 88 go in up on State Road 50, which is a high-end steakhouse that compares to anything I've been to down in Tampa, and you don't have to have the 45-minute drive. But over the 19 years I've been here, it's got so much more diverse as well, as all of these different cultural influences become part of it. So Polish food, got you covered there. Good Italian food, of course, right? Pizza Villa and Di Cristofaro's are two of my favorites. If you like Mexican food, we got you covered there as well, Pueblo Viejo. Or if you like tacos, Cali Street Tacos, which is an awesome, awesome food truck. There's even an Indian food truck called Spice Corner, which I'm an Englishman, so you know I grew up on that stuff, is fantastic. We have a Thai restaurant called Thai Cuisine right by my office, which is authentic and delicious. And if it's just good old American dining you like, then Rookies and Drew's have got you covered there as well. So be sure to check out the local restaurants and support local business. It's one of my favorite things to do, and I'm always an advocate for local restaurants. Now let's talk about traveling and commuting. So Tampa, like I said, is about 40 miles to the south. If you're located somewhere close to the Suncoast Expressway, Suncoast Parkway, it's going to be about a 40-minute straight shot down to Tampa Airport. So if you're flying regularly, that's going to be important. Or about 55 minutes to downtown Tampa, down Kennedy Boulevard. It's going to be about an hour and 10 minutes away from Clearwater, St. Pete Beach on a good run. And like I said, we're about an hour and a half west of Orlando. So really nothing great shakes there. You can get to most places within a reasonably short period of time. And then finding your way around Spring Hill is not difficult either. There's a great little matrix of roads that run east-west and north-south, where you pretty much are locked in into those areas. So you can say it's just off of Mariner, or it's just off of US 19 or State Road 50. So very, very easy to find your way around. Now, the one thing I will say is that if you speak to any locals that have been here for any period of time, they're going to tell you about the traffic. Now, I've been here 19 years, and yes, the traffic has got significantly worse over that time. It's really not that bad in my opinion. If you ever go to Orlando, you're going to be ripping your hair out, and you're going to appreciate the traffic that we have in Spring Hill. So depending on where you come from is going to depend how that feels here. Like I said, it's kind of small town feel, and in my opinion, small town traffic. But certainly for anyone that's been here a period of time, they've noticed a vast increase in the traffic, and it's all they want to talk about sometimes. Moving on to the weather. And the weather in Florida is kind of all over the place, and Spring Hill's no exception. So my favorite time of the year is from October through till about March. Now we're in a subtropical climate, which means we have really, really mild winters. That is beautiful. So in January, for example, the average high is going to be about 70 degrees. Average low is going to be about 45. So while most people are shoveling snow, guess what? We're walking around in flip-flops and shorts. Now there are a couple of cases during that time of the year where the weather's going to get down into the 30s at night. There are going to be hard freezes, but those are really the exception. And if you're looking to escape the snow, then you're going to love the Florida weather here during the fall. But let's talk about what it's like in the middle of July. If you've ever experienced Florida in the summer, you'll know it's an experience all unto itself. The average high is going to be 91, the average low is going to be 73, but with the humidity, it's going to feel like it's a gazillion degrees. Well, not really, but last week, for example, we're in the middle of July now, it was saying it felt like 104, 105 outside. And no matter how long I've been here for, I swear it gets hotter for longer every single year. And then on top of that, we have the high amounts of precipitation, so it's going to rain most afternoons. And who can forget our good friend hurricane season? Now, we've been lucky in this area. We haven't really been affected by one for a long time, but it's a ticking time bomb. It will happen eventually. Just something to be aware of, because it's not all sunshine here. We do have to deal with the negative sides of the beautiful sun at some point. However, with all that being said, it still beats the snow in my opinion, so make your own decision, pick your poison. This is just my opinion on it. And then finally, like I said, I want to give a mention to the healthcare in the area because that's important for some people. Now, locally, Tampa General Hospital just came in and took over 2 of the HCA places, and that's only going to make things better. I've had experience of Tampa General Hospital, and it's one of the best hospitals in Florida. So really looking forward to see how they can improve what were already good hospitals locally. Now, I've never had any problem with any of the doctors locally, but I'm not a sick person. I have heard stories from some people I know, but I've had to travel a little bit further afield to find doctors who have the certain specialty that they're looking for, and because the people here are getting booked up so far in advance. So there is that element to it. And one more thing to mention is that Tampa has some of the absolute best hospitals, not just in Florida, but in the country. So Moffitt Cancer Center, they got a great VA facility down there, St. Jude's Children's Hospital. So healthcare, in my opinion, is greatly supported here locally. All right, guys, so that's gonna do it. I hope you've learned a lot about Spring Hill. I know I've thrown a lot at you. If you want to make Spring Hill your home or purchase a property here, be sure to reach out to me and the team. We'd love to help you. It's a great place to live, and it's also, like I said, relatively affordable compared to other areas in the Tampa Bay area. And if you like the channel, be sure to subscribe, be sure to hit the notifications button, and as always, leave comments. I love hearing feedback from people like you. And if you're not quite ready to take the next step or you want to learn more about the area, be sure to watch one of the pros and cons videos that I've made or one of the vlog videos that I've made. I also do map tours and talk about some of the important aspects of what's going on locally, as well as things you should know before you make the move. All right, guys, that's going to do it. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm Ross Hardy from the Hardy team. It's time to love where you live.